Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It seems we finally have some numbers we can work with when it comes to Xbox. Now, we've known for some time that with Xbox, especially during the launch of the console, the original console, and its most successful era being the 360, it did pretty well. Of course, then came the Xbox One, which was a little bit disastrous for obvious reasons, but finally we came to the Series S and X where it finally started to push ahead, we feel, and do a lot better. With 2024 arriving, the first quarter has nothing new in the first quarter, and we really should have had something, at least one game for the first quarter. But that aside, the second, third, and fourth quarter is jam-packed with games like Hellblade 2, Avowed, Indiana Jones, Gareau, which is PC only, but still coming from Xbox, and for those of you that are on PC will be able to enjoy it. You've got Towerborn, you've got a plethora of other games that are still coming this year, including mammoth games like Call of Duty, and who knows, we may even see World of Warcraft landing this year on Xbox. Now that would be pretty damn awesome, wouldn't it? So with that said, if you do find this video useful and informative, help me out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We are trying to get to 7,000 subs, and hopefully we can make that happen before the end of this month. Before we get started though, top comments. There's been 4 videos where I haven't been able to post them, so here we're going to just quickly go over them. So we have Ardent9422. He says, Steam on Xbox is something I've always wanted, and Xbox going the direction of being more like a PC could be great for the longevity of the brand, but I think right now the handheld is the right direction. And I agree. You know, a future where you have more launchers on your console is great. And if this is the direction Xbox wants to go in, as long as, you know, it brings money to their studios so they can actually continue to bring us great games, then that's a synergy that's going to work really, really well. But I do believe what Ardent here is saying, that the handheld is the right direction, and that coming first, or who knows, it could be coming second, is definitely a step in the right direction. This could have huge impacts in the Far East, in places like Japan, because they do love their mobile gaming. Just look at the Switch, and maybe this is the reason why they're going into it. But thank you for your comment, Ardent9422. Next up, we have Tony GICZ8. They should have done this from the beginning of the gen instead of the Series S. Now, this is something I do agree with. PlayStation did this with their digital, making it $50 cheaper, and then their disc drive version. And, you know, this is something that Xbox probably should have went into. However, they believe that by releasing a cheaper version of the Series console, it could impact Japan. It could infiltrate Japan and make a bigger footprint. That clearly didn't happen. That's why I think they're getting rid of the Series S and going with the Series H. That is what I'm going to call the handheld from now on, Series H. But we'll see how that works out. But I think overall, if they actually had gone down this approach, things, at least on the console front, with, you know, third-party developers constantly moaning about the Series S, that, you know, drama, that narrative would never have happened. And it would have been interesting in retrospect to see what the scope and landscape would have been like had both the, you know, the Series S and the Series X been of equal power. Of course, we have Tasman YT here, and he says, I saw my wife, slightly drunk, yelling at the TV, "Don't go in there! Don't go in the church, you moron!" She was watching our wedding video. You know what, Taz? I really don't know what to say to this. So, GG, buddy. But you know what? You got 20 likes. You've earned your spot. And finally, we have Byron Morse 42. I'm enjoying Final Fantasy XIV online on Xbox Series. I'm happy you're enjoying it, dude. It's a fantastic game. Welcome to Eorzea. Like, I'm a huge fan of that game, so I'm really happy to see that you're enjoying it. And I haven't got any issues using Xbox feature. It's all about the wording in the messages to post for any players to play in a group. I've posted Division 2, GTA Online, and haven't got banned without any features. Now, this is in relation to someone posting the word free company. Now, free companies in Final Fantasy XIV is essentially what guilds are called. And someone posted trying to get, a recruitment to their free company, and that free company term was picked up as solicitation, and it earned them a 2-month ban on Xbox. This is excluding the censorship that you have in game through stuff like Fanalan, which has the word anal written in Fanalan, or other words that end with ST at the end of the first word and say dance for the second word, and when you combine them it says STD. Now, these are all being censored inside the actual wording of the actual game, and it's a bit silly. But the biggest issue here is the word free company being picked up as soliciting, and that just shouldn't be the case. And the person on Xbox received a 2-month ban, and after a human evaluation, it still stayed after their appeal. And after a lot of this drama online, it's now being reassessed, and I'm sure they're going to turn it over. But the point is, it should never have got there in the first place. But Final Fantasy XIV is a great game. I love it. I'm going to be streaming it on June the 29th. Pretty much almost like a subathon. We're going to be going all day for 2-3 days, and hopefully we can finish it in time and have a good time. Hopefully I'll see you there. But that's the comments. Thanks so much for posting. On with the video. Now, I know a lot of you are going to think this is an April Fool's video, but it is not. These are actual numbers that I found online. Now, obviously, these are all subject to interpretation, but it does showcase, as you are seeing on screen right now, the Microsoft Xbox gaming software sales revenue worldwide from 2012 to 2025. Now, 2025 is obviously the projected sales because we're not in 2025. But this does not cover console sales. This does not cover Game Pass sales. This covers just the software sales for Microsoft Xbox Gaming. So that should give us a baseline of how Microsoft has been doing. Now, in 2012, we should be at the end of the actual Xbox 360 era. And as you can see, their sales for software was $7.716 million. Now, that's not bad for for the 360 era, and that was actually doing relatively well, right? When you consider all things, the Xbox 360, I believe, had roughly about 80 million consoles sold, so that's actually pretty impressive. So from 2013 to 2020, might as well say 2020 because that is, the Series X came out towards the end of the year, so that's pretty much a full year for the Xbox One. You've got a pretty decent 7-year span there for the Xbox One, where it just continued to decline year on year. From the end of the 360 era at 7.7, they lost just over 600,000 by 2013. The decline continued in 2014, 15, and 16 to 6.6 million. That then continued in 2017 to 6.4 million, and then at 2018 we started to see sharper declines, with it dropping to just under 5.8 million, and then 2019, when it got to its worst possible state, where they tried to kind of revitalize it around 2017 with the Xbox One X, it didn't work. It dropped down to 4.5 million. They did see a little resurgence to 4.7 million in 2020 with the news that the Series X is coming and it being backwards compatible, but it really wasn't enough to move the needle. So you can see that there's been a massive decline. We're looking 3 million in revenue between 2012 and 2020. But this is where things start to change with the Xbox Series X launching. Now, it launched in 2020, and I guess our first year is going to be the 2021 because that's really the base full year. And you can see it rose to 6.3 million. Now, that's actually a pretty decent jump considering they had no first-party exclusives, I believe, for the whole first year. That was pretty awful. It was supposed to launch with Halo. It did not launch with Halo. It was plastered all over the box. I mean, it couldn't have launched in a worse state. This is also during the height of the pandemic. So, it wasn't a great time for Microsoft, but still, they managed to recover quite a bit from the Xbox One era to the Series X, and that only improved by 2020 to 7.7 million. Now, that, in theory, actually outdid their 2012 sales of 7.716. They are now at 7.754. Now, for everyone that was saying, including myself, that Game Pass is cannibalizing sales, Phil Spencer repeatedly said that Xbox gaming revenue is doing well. It's on the up, and profits are great. But we see in 2023, what Phil Spencer said was actually true, as it went from 7.7 million to 8.5 million. And that increase has continued for 2024, or as it is expected at 8.6 million. Now, for 2025, it is expected to have a little decline at 8.5 million. But what we can see from here, that the Xbox Series era of software sales is actually way higher than what it was during the Xbox One era, and that should come as no surprise to anyone because of just how abysmal the Xbox One was, but it's also actually outselling the Xbox 360 era. Obviously, we only have 1 year for the Xbox 360, and that was the final year that the console was pretty much going to do its thing. The Xbox 360 was around from 2005 to 2013, so overall, I could, there is some judgment to be made there because we don't have the previous stats. I wish we did, but we don't. This is all we have for the time being. But we can see from here that despite the sharp decline from the Xbox One era, things have actually gone really well. And for Xbox Series X, despite all the doom and gloom and people saying that people just don't buy their games or whatever, it's clear that gaming software sales is on the up. The moment the Series X came in, it went from 4.79 million to 6.3 million to 7.75 million to 8.5 million to 8 and projected to 8.6, with a slight dip in 2025 to 8.5 as people gear up to the next gen, or if this is going to be Microsoft's push into whatever they're doing with Steam and Epic. So that will obviously have an impact on their total revenues. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. But this just shows that Microsoft's balance overall is pretty healthy. Games are selling. And if we take the final year of the 360, which was by far their best console ever, revenue is actually in a net plus. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that this is profits. Let's make that perfectly clear. This isn't saying that, that 8.6 million is all profit. This is just revenue in sales. So that could actually be a deficit once you take away, costs and everything else. But what we can derive from this is that they are doing more software sales now than they have been doing over the past 10 years. So that is, on its own, amazing. Because 10 years ago, Game Pass didn't exist. But it does today. And it gives you day one games on the service, and people are still choosing to buy their games. And that pretty much is a testament to Xbox. It is a testament to the quality of their software and the fact that people are still interested in buying their games, be it digital or physical, as opposed to getting them through Game Pass. And that is, what Phil Spencer has said all along, that people buying or subscribing to Game Pass and trying the games are more inclined to go out and actually buy them. I was very skeptical about this because I'm one of the people that isn't on that bandwagon personally. If I got it available on Game Pass, I'm paying my subscription, I'm happy. There are certain games like Starfield I bought the collector's edition for, but overall, if, it's a game that I play, like Forza Horizon 5, I'm happy to play that through Game Pass. I don't need to own it physically or digitally because I just don't find the need. Hellblade 2, for example, if they had a physical version, I would have bought a physical version of that game because I loved the first one. So it's game dependent for me. But I can understand how some people who try the service and don't go buy it so they can own it in case for whatever reason it comes off the service. And this is what Phil Spencer has been saying all along, is actually now, according to this, true. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, and let's have that discussion, because I thought this is actually really good news. This is really, really good news, and it shows that Xbox is on the right trajectory. Now, a lot of people have been talking about their doom and gloom, giving 4 games away, yada, 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 yada. And there have been a lot of problems with Xbox, you know, with the whole Final Fantasy 14 thing and other stuff. But what's clear is there is a plan in motion here, and whatever that plan is seems to be working. Because if they've increased their sales revenue almost year on year from 2021, then they are definitely doing something right. And that's what's important. Now, what they need to do is make sure that that increase in sales revenue is actually turning into profit. Well, everyone, you let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. If you have enjoyed this video, do leave a like and subscribe. Let's have that discussion. Don't forget to hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.